y'all, today I'm going to work on a tutorial for my Fall Dream Chunky Mini album. I've been asked by a couple of ladies to do a tutorial, and so I figure, I don't have anything else to do, so I'll make a little tutorial here. And I'm going to do it in sections, so I'm going to do it one page at a time, being that they're not all the same. So for the first page here, we're going to make this flap. It opens up here in these two pockets. And then on the back side here, this opens up and has this pocket. So that's what we're going to work on now. And to get started, what you're going to need is you're going to need an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. You're going to cut it at 8 by 6 1/4. So you're going to take this piece and this piece, and this is what it'll look like. Sorry if I'm out of frame here. Okay, you can take this little piece right here and throw it away. This piece right here, don't throw this away. You're going to need it for your pockets. Okay, so now you have an 8 by 6 1/4. Okay, set that to the side, because what we're doing is we're building the base page to work off of. Okay, and then you're going to take another 8.5 by 11. It's going to be 8 by 6 3/4. And it'll look like this. Okay, and then what you're going to do, don't throw this piece right here away, but you can throw this little one away. Alright, then you have an 8 by 6 3/4, and you have a 6 1/4 by 8. Alright, you're going to take this 6 3/4 by 8 piece, you're going to score it at a half on the 6 3/4 side. So this is your 6 3/4 side, you're going to score it at a half. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it, burnish it down. Okay, and for video purposes, I'm going to use my ATG gun. I recommend using glue, or you do score tape. You use whatever you normally use or feel comfortable with. Okay, but you're going to take this flap, and then your first piece, which was 6 1/4 by 8. I'm going to line these up. Okay, and this is what you have, and this is your base page. This is what you're going to build on. And the reason I don't have, another 1/2 inch here is because I glued this piece. These two flaps here is what I glue onto my binding. So this is what you have. Okay. Now what you're going to do is on the front of page 1, you're going to take an 8.5 by 11, you're going to cut it, and you're going to make an 8 by 11. So you have 8 by 11. Okay, you can throw this little piece here away. Then what you're going to do is you're going to score on the 11 inch side. You're going to score it a half and score it 6. Okay, that's your 11 inch side. You score it a half and score it 6. Okay, then you take this flap here, fold it over, burnish it down. And this 1/2 inch here, you're going to fold it down and burnish it. Okay, then you're going to take your glue or tape, whatever adhesive you use, put it on your little 1/2 inch flap here, and on the side that you're going to put on the binding, on your binding system, this is where you're going to put this. So it's going to go right here to the left side. Okay, and just press that down. So now you have a flap and then a flap here. Okay, so now the two pieces that you had earlier, I told you not to throw away. What you're going to do with these two is you're going to cut, you're going to need a 3 by 5 1/2, and you're going to need a 3 1/4 by 8. Okay, we'll do the 3 by 5 1/2 piece first. You're going to take it, before you put the pockets on, make sure you put your decorative paper down first. Do your paper here and here. Put your decorative paper down first before you do your pockets. Okay, you're going to take glue on 3 sides. And then what you're going to do is line it up here on the side, on the left hand side. Line it up at the bottom. Press it down. Okay, you're going to press down on all 3 sides. Okay, that gives you a pocket here. Now your 3 1/4 by 8, you're going to do the same thing. Glue, glue, and glue on 3 sides. Okay, and you're going to take it to the side here, line it up on the edge, press it down. Okay, so now you have a pocket here, a pocket here. This is your flap. This flap's here. And on my book, this flap here, what I done was on my decorative piece of paper, I just cut a line, and then I added a little border punch here from my cardstock. I used a scrap piece of cardstock, and then I just cut a little border and just tucked it down in and glued it onto my decorative paper. That's all this is. It's just a cut in the decorative paper, and then you stick your little tags in. Okay, so alright, that's the front part of page 1. Now the back part of page 1, remember this is your base that we're working on. You're going to need an 8 1/2 by 11, and you're going to cut it at 7 3/4 by 6. Okay, so this piece here is 7 3/4 by 6, and that's going to leave you this bottom piece here that is 5 by 7 3/4. Okay, so you can throw this little piece here away, stick this piece to the side, don't throw it away. You're going to take your 6 by 7 3/4 on the 6-inch side. Now this is your 6-inch side here. You're going to score it a half. Okay, and you can fold that down, burnish it, and then this is going to be your right side. So you're going to take your 6 by 7 3/4 that you scored at a half, add your adhesive, and this is your opening side here. The right side is open now. So you're going to stick this down on the right hand side, but you see here I left a little bit here and a little bit here, so don't go all the way down to the bottom and don't go all the way to the top. I hope that's showing up on camera. See here, you have a little space here and a little space here. Okay, and then you're going to take your other piece, your 5 by 7 3/4, and you're going to score it at a half on the 5-inch side. This is your 5-inch side, you score it a half. Okay, fold it, burnish it down, your adhesive, and you're going to take and put this on your left hand side. And remember the same thing, don't go all the way to the top and don't go all the way to the bottom. But what you do want to do is you want to line it up with this page. See how it's lined up here at the top? But you still have your little gap here and your little gap here. But these two pieces are lined up. So now you have a left side and a right side flap. Okay, now we're going to do the bottom and the top flap. Okay, so you're going to need an 8 1/2 by 11. You're going to cut it at 6 by 6. Okay, so this is what you have. You have a 6 by 6, and the little piece left at the bottom here is going to be a 6 by 5. So you have a 5 by 6 and a 6 by 6. This piece here, do not throw away. Okay, you're going to take your 6 by 6 piece, you're going to score it a half. This is your 6-inch side. It doesn't matter though, because this whole thing is 6 by 6. So you just take it on one of your sides and score it a half. Okay, fold it down, burnish it, and then this is going to be your top flap. Okay, so this is your 6 by 6. Add your adhesive, line it up here at the top, and the same thing, don't go all the way to the edge on either side here. So this is what this looks like. Let me fold these two pieces in. Okay, so now you have this flap here. Now you have like just a little piece here on each side where you didn't go all the way to the edges on here either. Okay, so now you take your other piece, which is your 5x6, and on your 5-inch side, you're going to score it a half. Okay, fold it, burnish it, add your adhesive. And this is your bottom flap. Okay, so you open everything up, and once again, don't go all the way to the edges here. You go to the bottom. You go to this bottom edge, but not to the right and left. Okay, so now this is what you have. You have a bottom flap, a top flap, a left flap, and a right flap. Okay, so you fold in your left, fold in your right, fold up your bottom, fold down your top. Okay, and that is this part here. You have your top, your bottom, your right, and your left. Okay, now for your pocket, the piece I told you not to throw away, what you're going to do is you're going to take and you're going to cut this into a 2.5 by 6. Okay, so now you have a 2.5 by 6. Alright, then you're going to do glue on 3 sides. Make sure that you put your decorative paper down first. Okay, you put your decorative paper here, then you glue on your pocket. So you just take and line it up, and now you have a pocket. So you have a pocket here, bottom flap, top flap, left and right. Okay. And on mine I use magnets. So if you do magnets, you put a magnet here and here. Okay, so that is your first page. You have your front flap with 2 pockets, flips to the left, flip the page over, you have a top, a bottom, right, left, and a pocket. Okay, so now we'll move on to page 2. Okay, now we're going to start on page 2. We're going to make the waterfall. We're going to make this flap, this pocket, flip it over. We're going to make this flap and this belly band. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take an 8.5 by 11. Okay, you're going to make it an 8 by 6 1/4, which this is what you'll have. Okay, don't throw this piece away. You can throw this top piece away here. This is going to be your base page. Okay, so you have an 8 by 6 1/4. Then you're going to need another 8.5 by 11. You're going to make it 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, you take this little piece here, throw it away. Don't throw this piece here away. Okay, so then you're going to take this 6 3/4 by 8. You're going to score it at a half on the 6 3/4 side. Score it a half. Okay, so you score it a half. You burnish it down. You're going to take your adhesive. Okay, and then you're going to take your 6 1/4 by 8. You're going to line it up. Okay, so now we have our base page again. Just like on page 1, this is your base page. This is what we're going to build on. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take an 8.5 by 11. You're going to make it 7 by 6 3/4. Okay, so this is what you have. You can throw this piece here away. Don't throw this bottom piece away. Okay, you're going to take your 6 3/4 by 7. On the 6 3/4 side, you're going to score it a half. So this is your 6 3/4, score it a half. Okay, so you take it, burnish it down. Get your adhesive. Okay, and this time your opening is here on the left. We're going to add this to the right side. Okay, don't go to the bottom and don't go to the top. Just kind of, you know, find your little center, your little happy medium here, and just take it, burnish it down. Okay, so now you have a flap. Okay, for the inside here, we're going to have a pocket. And the piece I told you not to throw away off of this one, you're going to make it a 3 1/4 by 7. Okay, and then you're going to take glue on 3 sides. And then you're going to take it to the inside here. Don't go over your score line. And you're going to glue it down. So now you have a pocket and a flap. Okay, now for the waterfall, oh, let me tell you, before you put this pocket down, make sure you put your decorative paper, and then pocket. Okay, on the front here, put your decorative paper down before you do the waterfall. Okay, so the waterfall, you're going to take an 8 1/2 by 11. You're going to cut it in half, and that's going to give you 4 1/4 and 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take it, your 4 1/4 by 11 piece, you're going to cut it, and you're going to make it 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, that's going to give you 4 of these. So you're going to have 4 pieces that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so on all 4 of these, I only use 3 on mine. So just take the other one, set it to the side. You can use it for a mat. Okay, so what you have now is you have 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You're going to need 3 of these. Okay, on the 5 1/2 inch side, you're going to score it a half. I forgot to write that down. Okay, a half right here. Alright, so this is your 5 1/2 inch side. You score it a half. Then you're going to take that, like I said, I done 3. You're going to take it, burnish it down. Your decorative paper is already on here now. This is your flap. Your decorative paper is already on. Then you take it, and if you want to use 4, that's fine. I just use 3. But then you decide, you know, how far down you want them. I went maybe 3/4 of an inch, maybe an inch down. And then you'll just take your adhesive, put it down, find your spot, and glue it down. Okay, so that'll be your waterfall. And then you'll do another one, and then you'll do the third one. And like I said, if you want to do 4, that's fine. You just do all 4. Okay, so that's the front. So you have your waterfall, your flap, and your pocket. Okay, then you're going to flip it over, and for the back side here, we have a flap and a belly band. Okay, and this right here, this frame here, what I done was I used my We Are Memory Keepers punch board, and that's how I made my frame. And I done mine on 1/2 inch. When I done this, this is a 1/2 inch. And if you don't have one of those, just take your knife and cut a, you know, square, or you can use a die, whatever you have. Or you don't even have to put a frame here. You know, you can put mats here. You can do whatever you want to here. But I just done a frame and a large tag. Okay, and like I said, we'll flip and a belly band. Okay, so the back side here, you're going to take an 8 1/2 by 11. We're going to make it 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, don't throw this piece away. You have an 8 by 6 3/4. You're going to take it on the 6 3/4 side. You're going to score it a half. Okay, you take, fold it, burnish it down. Take your adhesive. Okay, this is your open side now. Now your open side is to the right, so this goes to the left. Okay, take it, press it down. Now you have your flap. Okay, the piece I told you not to throw away, you're going to cut a 2 1/4 by 8. Okay, and this is going to make your belly band. And you glue at the top and at the bottom. Put your decorative paper down, glue at the top and the bottom, and then you'll glue this right on top of your decorative paper. And you can put it in the center, you can put it on the side. I kind of done mine a little to the side. So now you have your belly band, your flap, and on mine I used my circle punch. I used my 1.5 inch circle punch and just punched right here and made my this little piece here. Okay, so for the front I used the frame and I used my circle punch here. And this punch here is a Martha Stewart punch. And all the measurements I'm giving you are before I use my punches. Okay, so this is what you have. You have your waterfall. You'll have 3 of these, or 4, whatever you choose. You have your flap, your pocket, you have your flap, and your belly band. And that's all for page 2. Okay, now let's get to working on page 3. Okay, y'all, so now we're going to make page 3. We're going to make this little closure here, this flap with a pocket, this flap with a pocket, this pocket here, and then we'll make these 2 pockets here. Okay, so what you're going to need for the front here is you're going to need, this is going to be your base page again, you're going to need an 8 by 6 1/4. Okay, this is what you have. Don't throw this away. Don't throw this one here away. Okay, then you're going to take another 8.5 by 11, make it 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, so this is what you have. Throw this away. Don't throw this away. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take on the 6 3/4 side, you're going to score it at 1/2. Okay, score it, burnish it. Okay, then you're going to take your adhesive. You're going to take your 6 1/4 by 8. You're going to line it up, burnish it down. Sorry for the noisy chair. Okay, that gives you your base page. Alright, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take a 6 1/2 by 7 1/2. This is what it gives you. Sorry if I get out of frame. Okay, this is what it gives you. You can throw this little piece here away. Don't throw this piece here away. Don't throw the bottom piece away. Okay, so now you have a 7 1/2 by 6 1/2. On the 6 1/2 inch side, you're going to score it a 1/2. Okay, so you score it a 1/2. Burnish it. And you're going to take your adhesive. Okay, and then on the open side here, on your left side, you're going to take this piece. Don't put it all the way at the bottom. Don't put it all the way at the top. Go about a 1/4 inch in from the top and the bottom. Place it down. So see, you have a gap, space here and a space here, because you didn't go all the way to the top. You didn't go all the way to the bottom. Okay, so that gives you this flap here. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to make the pocket here. You're going to take an 8 1/2 by 11. You're going to cut it at 5 3/4 by 8 1/2. Okay, this is what it gives you. And this little piece here and this piece here. Don't throw these away because you'll need them. Alright, so now you have a 5 3/4 by 8 1/2. You're going to take it on the 8 1/2 inch side. You're going to score it a 1/2. Rotate it, score it a 1/2. Rotate it, score it a 1/2. Okay, so then you're going to take, fold your score lines down, burnish them, and all 3 of them. Okay, and you're going to take your scissors, cut these little flaps here off. And you'll take your time and, do everything better than what I'm doing here. Okay, so now you have your 2 flaps here and your flap here. Alright, take your adhesive, on all 3 sides. Okay, and then you're going to take on your flap, you're going to glue it down, and you're going to have your opening on this side. So you have your little flap here. It's going to go down here. Don't go over the score line. And just line everything up. Okay, so now you have a pocket here and your flap. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take another 8.5 by 11. You're going to make it 7 by 6 1/4, which this is what it gives you. Okay, you can throw this piece right here away if you'd like. This piece here, don't throw it away. Okay, so now you have a 7 by 6 1/4. On the 6 1/4 inch side, you're going to score it a half. Okay, fold it down, burnish it, get your adhesive. Okay, now on top of this flap here, you're going to place your little 1/2 inch side here, about a 1/4 inch from the top and a 1/4 inch from the bottom. Okay, so this is what you have. Your first flap here is about a 1/4 inch down, and your second flap is going to be about a 1/4 inch down, so it's not at the top or the bottom. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so now you're going to take another 8.5 by 11. I'm going to take an 8 by 5. Okay, this is what it gives you. We'll do it this way. Okay, this is what it gives you. You can take this piece here, throw it away. Take this piece here, and stick it to the side. Okay, so now you have a 5 by 8. Okay, on your 8 inch side, you're going to score it a half, rotate it, score it a half, rotate, score it a half. Okay, fold all your lines down and burnish them. Take your scissors, notch out your little corners. And this is what it looks like when you do that. When you notch out your little corners, it's going to look like this. You have 2 little spaces here. Okay, so you fold in your little flaps here. Add your adhesive to all 3 sides. Okay, and you're going to open this first flap. You're going to take this pocket with the open side here. Here's your little piece here. Okay, you're going to line it up. Don't go over the score mark. Okay, and you'll fold it. You'll press it down. Okay, so now you have a pocket and a flap. Okay, so this is your flap, pocket, flap, pocket. Okay, so now we need to make the closure to hold this down. Alright, for that piece, one of the scraps that you have from before, I told you not to throw away, you're going to make a 2 3/4 by 6. You're going to score it at a half and at 5/8. Okay, so you have your half here, then you have your 5/8 is your second mark. So that gives you this little lip looking thing here. I don't know what you call that, but it gives you, you know, just a little space here. Alright, and then you're going to open your 2 flaps up, and you're going to take and put adhesive. Okay, do this part before you put down this pocket. Do your closure before you put down the pocket. So let's take the pocket off like we didn't even do it. Alright, so here's your closure piece. Take it, line it up here at the edge. Okay, so now you have this. See how it has a little gap here? I hope that's picking up. That helps hold all this and it won't be so tight. Okay, so you have your closure. Put your design paper down now, and then put your pocket on. Glue here, here, and here. Line it up here at the bottom. Don't go over your score mark. Put your design paper down before you put the pocket down. Okay, so now you have flap, pocket, flap, pocket, closure, and then this small pocket. Okay, and I use magnets for mine. I put a magnet here as well as here, so it closes like this. Okay, so then what you want to do is you want to flip it over, and we're going to work on the back side. Okay, so the back side here, we'll just have two pockets. Okay, you have a pocket here and a pocket here. Okay, so for those, you're going to need the scrap pieces earlier I told you not to throw away. You're going to need a 3 by 5 1/4 and a 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so you need a 3 by 5 1/4 and a 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. Alright, you're going to take the first one, which is your 3 by 5 1/4. You're going to put glue on 3 sides. Okay, so you put your glue, and then the open side, the side you did not put glue on, will go here at the top. And if you want, you can place this one down before you glue this. That way it kind of helps you know where to place it. Okay, so then you'll press that down. Now you have a pocket here. Okay, you're going to do the same thing for the bottom. Your 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. You're going to take glue on 3 sides. Okay. Once again, you just place it down. And you press it down. And you have a pocket here. So you have a larger pocket on the bottom, smaller pocket here on top. Okay, and that's all for page 3. So you have your closure, flat with a pocket, flat with a pocket, pocket here. Flip it over, you have a pocket here and a pocket here. Okay, so now let's move on to page 4. Okay, y'all, now we're going to do page 4. We're going to do this flap, and we're going to flip it over, and we'll do this waterfall here, this large waterfall, and this pocket here. Okay, so to get started, what you're going to need is you're going to need 8 by 6 1/4, because we're going to build on our base page again. So this is what you have. Throw this little piece away, hang on to this piece here. Okay, and then you're going to take another 8 1/2 by 11. You're going to make it 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, this is what it'll look like. Throw this little piece away, hang on to this piece. Alright, so now you have your 8 and 6 3/4. On the 6 3/4 side, you're going to score it a half. Okay, fold, burnish it down, add your adhesive, take your 6 1/4 by 8 piece, line it up, press it down. Okay, this gives you your base page. Alright, now what you're going to need is you're going to need another 8 1/2 by 11. You're going to cut it at 7 3/4 by 6 3/4. Okay, so you have a 7 3/4 by 6 1/4. That's going to leave you this small piece here, which is going to be 7 3/4 by 4 1/4. Okay, you're going to need this piece. This piece here, you can throw it away. Okay, so now you're going to start with your 6 3/4 by 7 3/4. You're going to score it at a half on the 6 3/4 side. This is 6 3/4, score it a half. Okay, burnish it down, add your adhesive on your base page here with your open side to your left. You're going to take this flap, put it down, don't go all the way to the bottom, don't go all the way to the top. So you're going to have, this little space here and here. Okay, so then what you're going to do is you're going to open it up, and the piece that you had left over from the bottom, your 7 3/4 by 4 1/4. On your 4 1/4 inch side, you're going to take and score it at a half. Okay, fold it down, burnish it, add your adhesive, and this is your right side, the side that's closed up. Okay, you're going to take it, don't go all the way to the bottom, don't go all the way to the top. Okay, so this is what you have. You have a little space here, a little space here. So you have left flap, right flap. Okay, and on mine, sorry for the noise, on mine here, this was just the piece that I had left over, a scrap piece that I had punched from another project. So I just placed it here. You can, make your own little square or triangle corner piece here or whatever. You don't have to make anything at all. You can just use this, piece here. Or you can put a pocket here, whatever you want to do. But you have your flap here and here. And also, I used my little circle punch here. And as before, I just cut a little slit across on 2 sides. And that's how I done these pockets. Okay, so on the back part here, this waterfall, what you're going to do is we're going to make the pocket first. And you're going to put your design paper down first. Okay, so on the front, front of page 4, you have your flap to the left, flap to the right. Okay, you flip it over. We're going to make the pocket here. The pieces earlier I told you not to throw away. You're going to need a 3 by 6 1/4. You're going to glue it on 3 sides. Okay, you'll line it up. You can line this up at the bottom. Okay, that's going to give you a pocket. Okay, now we're going to build a large waterfall. And on this, you're going to need a 6 1/4 by 8. And on the 8-inch side, you're going to score at a half. Sorry, I'm out of frame. The 8-inch side, you're going to score at a half. Okay? So you'll take, fold it, burnish it down, add your adhesive. Okay? And at the top of your page, you're going to line this up, press it down. Okay, so that gives you your flap. Then you're going to need a 5 3/4 by 7 1/2. 5 3/4, 7 1/2. On the 7 1/2 inch side, you're going to score it a half. Okay, so you take, fold it, burnish it, add your adhesive. When you put this down, don't go to the edges. You're going to take it to the top, and I just kind of eyeball mine. Press it down. Okay, so now you have a space here and here. Of course, it's not even. I'm on camera. But you'll have that. So that's your. I call this my medium flap. This is my large flap. So now we're going to do the small flap that goes on top of here. You need a 5 by 7. 5 by 7. On the 7-inch side, you're going to score it a half. Fold it, burnish it, add your adhesive. Okay, and again, you're going to line it up in the middle, all the way at the top. Press it down. Okay, so this is what you have. You have spaces here and spaces here. Okay, so this gives you your small, your medium, and your large flap, and then you have your pocket. Before you put the pocket down, make sure you put your design paper down. Design paper and then pocket. Okay, and on mine, I had added a magnet closure here. So you'll put your magnet under here and let it grab under here. Make sure you use a strong magnet, or you can use any kind of closure that you like. I just used a magnet on mine. Okay, so that's page 4. On the front, you have your flap to the left, flap to the right. Flip it over. You have your waterfall, small, medium, large, and your pocket. Okay, so that's all for page 4. Now I'm going to show you how I done the front and the back. Okay, y'all, now we're going to make this front flap and pocket. Okay, so what you're going to need, and let me go ahead and tell you, the front and the back are the same. They're just flipped in a different direction. Okay, so the front here and the back, you're going to need the same thing for both of them. What you're going to need, you're going to take an 8.5 by 11. I'm going to make it 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, so you have 6 3/4 by 8. Okay, throw the little piece here away. Hang on to this piece here. Okay, then what you're going to do on your 6 3/4 side, you're going to score it a half. So this is your 6 3/4, score it a half. Okay, you're going to fold that down, burnish it. Alright, then you're going to take another 8.5 by 11, same thing, 8 by 6 3/4. Okay, this is what you have. Throw this small piece away, hang on to this piece here. Okay, so now what you're going to do, on the 6 3/4 inch side, you're going to score it a half. Okay, so fold it, burnish it down. Okay, on your album, once you have, everything covered, everything is covered, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these pieces, you're going to place it down in your album like this. Okay, so you're going to put adhesive on your flap. Okay, and then you're just going to place it down. Okay, so that gives you a flap that looks like this, but we want a flap that flaps out. So you're going to take your other piece with the flap here, add your adhesive, okay, and you're going to add it on top of this piece here. So line up your sides, okay, and that's going to give you a flap this way and this way. Okay, so now what you're going to do is, now we need to add a pocket. We need to add this side pocket here. Okay, I put my design paper down first, and then I took a 2 3/4 by 8, and then you're going to glue it on 3 sides, here, here, and here. Okay, and then I just took mine and placed it on the side here, just like this. Okay, so this is actually what we have. Okay, this piece will be down in our book already. Oops. Okay, so we have the flap here and flips out here, and the pocket will cover this up. Okay, be sure not to go over the score mark there. Okay, so now you have a pocket. Okay, you have a pocket and your flaps. Okay, and the same thing will happen on the back. When you do the back, you're going to need the same measurements, but it's going to flip out and in. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your pieces that are 8 by 6 3/4, score it at a half on the 6 3/4 side. Okay, you scored it a half here. You add your adhesive. Then you're going to place it down in your book. Okay, and then you're going to take your other piece that is scored at a half, and you're going to put your little 1/2 inch piece here on this side. Okay, so this is what it gives you. It gives you a flap out and a flap in. Okay, for the pocket, same thing, 2 3/4 by 8. Add your glue on 3 sides and just glue it down, making sure that you have your decorative paper already down before you do this part. Okay, so then you have your pocket and then your flap. Okay, I hope this makes sense. I hope this tutorial makes sense. Please let me know if you have any questions. I enjoyed making this album. It is, has a lot of flips and flaps and little pockets, and it will hold a lot of photos. But if you have any questions or comments, just leave them below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and have a good day. Thank you. Bye. Hey y'all, let me show you how I added my pages to my binding system here. Okay, because you have this open spot here, and this side here is closed. So your right side is closed, your left side is open. What I do is I have adhesive on both sides of my piece here, of my little binding piece here. And what I do is, this is the front of your page. The left side will be open. Okay, so you just take it, open it all the way up, lay it down in here. Don't go over the score mark, so just kind of pull it up a little bit. Let me open this all the way. Okay, so lay these down flat, and here you can kind of see where the score mark is, so don't go all the way to the score mark. Go almost all the way to the score mark, then lay this down, and then you'll burnish this down, and then you'll take this flap and just close it up. Be sure not to go over the score mark on this side as well. So this is how I add my pages. And then what I do is I just take some glue here at the bottom and just run a small bead of glue here at the bottom. So that's when I have a top opening page. This is how I do mine, is I just take it and have my adhesive already on my little flap here. Take my page, the back of the page, press it down, take this, kind of make sure everything's lined up. When you do it, it'll all be better secured and more sturdy, because the page will already be decorated, or mine were anyway. So that's what you have, and that's how I glue my page into my binding system. And on the binding system, you only need 4 of these flaps. This is just my little practice one. It has 6, so all you need is 4, and they have a 1/2 inch gusset on each one. So I hope this helped. Thank you.